Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast between the Little One and Zpux here on Lost Temple. We have Zpux spawning on the north side of the map as the yellow Zerg. Meanwhile, we have the Little One spawning as the red Protoss over here on the south side of the map. So it is going to be a Zerg versus Protoss matchup here on Lost Temple. Game's already underway and we'll see how this game will unfold. Now, I'm not sure how many games there are, or is this a best of 3 or best of 5 matchup, or just a casual game between these two players. I'm going to cast as many of these games as I can, but just in case you do know if this is a best of 3 or best of 5, I'm not going to let you know if I in fact have any additional videos. So back over here we have the Little One now scouting out with this probe. Gonna go ahead and scout the far side, quickly making sure that it is not some sort of close spawn. Normally if a Zerg player spawned here, we would have already had the Little One keeping track of whether or not an Overlord is in position. So the Little One probably has a fairly good idea of where exactly Zpux has spawned. Zpux, on the other hand, still needs to check if it is in fact this spawning location or the far spawning location as well. We in fact have a fair amount of chrono boost being saved up, and for some reason finally going to go ahead and get that probe underway, getting that gateway a little bit earlier than normal. So a little curious about that, but no real harm, no real foul, no real loss in terms of the grand scheme of things on trying to analyze every single second in terms of their particular build orders. Probe still running, Probe still sticking around here, trying to make sure that there is in fact no hatchery being laid down. Zpux, on the other hand, getting that spawning pool and continuing to produce drones and overlords. So it doesn't look like he's trying to go for any sort of fast hatchery at this stage in the game. Still running around with that probe, trying to keep track of these units. He's also trying to keep track of how many larvae are sitting here. Only one larva, so it doesn't look as though it's going to be some sort of a rush of any sort. Now up to 2 larvae. Queen should be produced, or is he going to go for a hatchery now? No, now going for the queen and going for those 2 extra Zerglings. So that one probe just doing a little bit of patrolling here, trying to make sure that there is no push. Little One getting 2 pylons to power this one gateway, creating some sort of a narrow choke point over here. So that's a fairly decent position for those units to be. And now we're also going to have the Little One put down a nexus over here at his natural expansion. So using a pylon and gateway in order to create an additional choke point in order to put down this nexus. So should be fairly interesting how this is really going to work. Zergling's already on the move. I'm trying to chase down this one poor probe. Probe already taking 1 hit. Shields are already gone down to 15 hit points. May get another hit in the back. Waiting for that hit. There's that hit. And now once again those units continuing to engage, and that probe able to sneak on through. Back over here, the forge now being warped in as well as 2 zealots hold this choke point over here. So a little interesting on how this is all being worked out. We do not have any additional pylons in the base. The Little One finally getting that assimilator. Assimilator is definitely late in terms of the grand scheme of things on how he's going to go ahead and open up, but it looked as though he wanted to get a stronger fast expansion as with that nexus. Zealots now being moved in over as well. So once again, we'll see how this really all works out. We have Zerglings trying to chase down that one probe. Probe still able to like scuttle away very, very slowly, down to 15 shields, 10 hit points, and are now at half life. And now that Zergling will just be able to chase it down. Perhaps that probe will be able to find the information that he's looking for. Wants to see if there is in fact a fast hatchery, and there is in fact that hatchery. So the Little One able to keep track of that hatchery and knows that he does not have to worry about a very, very large army yet. However, he will have to counter that hatchery with an expansion of his own, which he already has up and running. What am I talking about? Little One already having his natural nexus running, so he has the economic advantage. Zpux, on the other hand, only operating off of 2 bases, needs to take a 3rd in order to try to even out this game. Zerg generally needs one more expansion than a Protoss player in order to just keep up that macro, or at least that's how it was in the original StarCraft. Gateway now being powered by that pylon from that low ground, enabling it to just warp in and trying to get additional units as well. Forge already being upgraded as well, so that weapons upgrade, level 1 weapon upgrade already being warped in. Little One sitting on a large number of probes that are just mining, not getting gas. So all of this only off of 1 assimilator at this stage. Getting the 2nd gateway as well. Also getting that warp gate feature as that probe perhaps going to try to drop down an additional an additional pylon over here, enabling him to warp in units on this low ground. So we'll see how that's really going to work out. Zealots still gathering over here. The weapons, level 1 weapons upgrade nearing completion. Roaches, however, going to be busting through along with those Zerglings. And how is this all going to work? Zealots, once again, trying to do a little bit of engagement, and now trying to choke off there. Zerglings trying to push through, and one Zealot just holding there, trying to take all that damage. The Stalker really needs to get in position, and really the little one in a bad position over here. As long as those Roaches are able to take down those Zealots, those 2 Zealots were in the perfect position. However, that one Stalker may be able to hold it back with that cannon. More Stalkers now being warped in. The weapons upgrade nearing completion, so those Stalkers will be able to deal 1 additional damage towards those Roaches. Zerglings now coming in, trying to finish off the rest of these units. An additional, why is the Stalker shooting at his own cannon? So a little bit of a miss micro there as those units continue to engage. Now the Photon Cannon pushing back the rest of those units. Down goes one of those Roaches, and still only 2 Stalkers continuing to try to fight. Probe now coming in to join in on this fight, so 2 Stalkers and a single cannon trying to fight back the rest of these Roaches. Second cannon now being warped in, but quickly going to get taken down. So more Chrono Boost, more Zealots, more Stalkers trying to be warped in, and those Zerglings are having a fairly difficult time trying to do a little bit of engagement here. Warp Gate research has not yet been completed, and now Zealot coming out. More probes coming off the line in order to do a little bit of engagement. So Little One using everything he has in order to try to counteract this engagement. More Zerglings, and for some reason only hitting buildings, depleting shields as opposed to taking down these probes. Probes now down to what, 19 harvesters for the Little One, so the Little One is fairly far behind. Zealot with that level 1 weapon upgrade should be able to just come in and engage on this engagement. We'll see how this is going to work. Zealot almost getting another hit off. Now only 1 single probe in that whole entire base right there. Zealot coming over, wants to take it down. Will be able to take down those units fairly easily, as it does in fact have that level 1 weapon upgrade, taking down those units, and only two Zerglings being left behind. Gateway should be warped into a warp gate in just a moment. Little One really needs some macro back up. However, what did I miss? I missed something. Alright, I think I have to rewind it just a little bit. Back over to the 8-minute mark, and it's loading. Oh, good gosh. Okay, so no, I guess I didn't miss anything. He didn't have that many harvesters. Okay, so go back to the 10-minute mark. 10. There we go. So I didn't miss anything. I was just a little... I second-guessed myself. Come on. You can do it. Load, load, load. Hope. Anyways, the Zerglings once again trying to push back. Zealots still engaging. Army, both sides fairly even with that army, even though look as though the Little One took a lot in economic losses. And the majority or the truth of the matter is that Zpux was really trying to pump out units instead of pumping out drones, and because of that, the economic advantage is not really Zplux's at this stage. The army of Zpux was in fact larger, I think, losses wise, yeah. Zpux lost many more resources in that fight. So even though a lot of probes were taken down or lost by the Little One, the game is still anyone's to take. At this point, right now, we already have level 1 weapon upgrades, no additional upgrades that I can see yet. A gateway now being warped in, and now a stalker as well. So that sentry gonna try to act as a little bit of additional protection. Overlord now up here. Nothing in its cargo, as it does not. I do not think we're at tier 2 yet. No tier 2, no ventral sack upgrades. Spine crawlers now being built as well. So Zerglings, everyone just trying to get a little bit repositioned. Gonna go ahead and speed up the game just a little bit. Zergling trying to test this front door, decides not to, and those Zerglings are once again gonna pull back and try to re-engage. Now Zerglings trying to take down these destructible rocks. So the destructible rocks will be taken down, and now once again we have the armies moving on out. So Zealots and those stalkers moving out. The Zerglings hiding in the brush did a very good job. We'll see what's going to be happening. Is he going to drop down a force field? Yeah, able to drop down a force field. One Zergling will in fact be able to make it through, but the rest of those Zerglings are going to get taken down. And now that one single Zergling gonna have to deal with one single Stalker. However, that Stalker will be able to take down that Zergling with no real issue. And now in come the Stalker army. However, Zpux with a fair amount of Guardian or a fair amount of Force Fields, able to just push back this attack. Now gonna drop in a pylon and try to do better reinforcements. Drones now once again re-engaging. Force field on that ramp to make sure that no Zerglings try to come back over here. However, there's too many drones and too many roaches on this fight, as those roaches now going to be able to just push back out. Perhaps they will try to take down that pylon. Now, gonna go ahead and do a little bit of move and attack to try to take down that pylon. One roach is in fact gonna get taken down. Second pylon now already being warped in, and now trying to focus down more of these units. Zealots once again engaging. Roaches trying to fight back. One pylon already down to 103 hit points. Roaches being forced to pull back away. However, those spine crawlers with that range of 7 able to hit or deal a fair amount of damage. Stay tuned for part 2 of this replay between the Little One and Zpux here on Boss Temple.